welcome to Ridiculous. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. I hope you're living your best life. My wife cheated 15 years ago and I just found out her secret. My wife and I were college sweethearts. We met early during college and have been together since then. We have been married for 10 years and have 3 wonderful kids, great jobs, a nice house, and good emotional and physical bonds. We love each other. I knew that she had talked to another guy about 15 years ago in college during a rough patch in our relationship. I had known about that, and at the time she swore to me it was only talking. I never knew how much talking there was, but it was not that much according to her. He was there for her, listened to her, and told her how beautiful and smart she was, etc. I guess he gave her what I wasn't able to do at that time from an emotional standpoint. When this happened, I felt kind of responsible because I wasn't really there for her because I was dealing with personal issues which caused me to shut her out. I experienced some heavy trauma during my childhood and which made me unavailable for her emotional support. The guy she talked to was a friend of a friend. This guy was a complete loser. He was fat, an alcoholic, drug abuser, a slob who had nothing going for him. He was a complete loser, but he read books quite a bit and acted like a wannabe intellectual. I saw through all his BS, but others like my wife couldn't. One night while I was out of town on business, she ended up giving him a ride home. My wife swears nothing happened that night and all they did was talk. That was when they exchanged numbers and the emotional affair began. Fast forward a few months, 15 years ago, when I still didn't know anything was going on, I intercepted a phone call where I heard him asking her how she could stay with me after all they had. And as expected, I went apeshit and started freaking out. She confessed that they had been talking. And like I mentioned, she said it was only an emotional affair. I forgave her and we moved on with our lives. Now back to the present. A few months ago, after some heavy drinking, I asked my wife if she had ever cheated on me. She looked at me and confessed that the guy she had an emotional affair with was also a physical affair. I made her tell me all the details and she confessed to sleeping with him 3 times. I asked her how could she do that to us? How could she do that with him? My life completely broke down hearing that. It was like getting hit in the balls by a bag of bricks. I couldn't believe it. I drilled her for more questions and she's been pretty open describing everything from when and how it happened to the physical positions, etc. I thought I had to know these things, but now I can't stop replaying the story over and over again. I'm having a hard time sleeping. I can't concentrate at work and I have a quick temper with my kids. I feel really bad about that. My life has been in a tailspin. She swears she's given me the entire truth. She was very fragile and felt alone in this world. She's very remorseful. She's cried like I've never seen her cry before. Complete out loud sobbing, eyeliner running, can't catch her breath, all that. She's even gotten on the floor and begged me to stay. I feel so bad to see her in such pain, but this is pain she's brought on us. She said that the other man talked to her and lightened up the heavy burden of dealing with me when I was going through my own stuff. She said she never loved him. And she said that she didn't even find him physically attractive. She just fed off of his words. They allowed her to escape her life and feel free. She said the affair lasted 6 weeks. They only talked for a few weeks on the phone, which was almost every day. And then he met her after class for a few weeks where it started to get physical, like kissing, touching, rubbing, all that. The last 2 weeks of the affair, she had sex with him. She said this has completely destroyed her on the inside, destroyed her psyche and her self-esteem. It wasn't within her character to do that. And it has broken her and made her question herself. She's had to deal with keeping this a secret for a very long time. She said that it's not within her character to do something like this. And she's been holding on to this secret for so long that it's been eating her soul every day. I really want to believe her because I love her so much. She said the reason she didn't tell me was because she didn't want to hurt me, knowing how fragile and hurt I already am by my past. She seems authentically sorry about it. She swears the physical is what caused her to turn back to me. She realized how much she loved me. She said once the emotional turned physical, it made her realize what a big mistake she had. She saw how immature her thinking was and that I meant everything to her. My problem is that I'm not sure if I can get past this. It consumes all of my daily thoughts. Our marriage has been good for 10 years. She's a great wife and an awesome mother. She's there for me emotionally. We communicate really well and enjoy each other's company. She's my best friend and I'm hers. We love each other very much. Like most couples, it's not complete bliss, but overall, it's really good. There are days where I think I can get past this and others where I just want to leave and start over again. She pleads to me that she doesn't want her life to be defined by this single act, which was completely out of character. However, I told her that it was 3 mistakes. So what is she talking about a single act? Because she did it with him 3 times. She slept with him 3 times. So it's like she's minimizing what she did. I asked why she kept going back to have sex after the first time, if she realized it was a mistake. Her reply was she thought there was something more there. He had fed her all these words and she felt connected. She said she thought the first time was just awkward because it was the first time. She thought it would get better, but says the more it happened, the more she realized it was a mistake and wanted to be with me. She wants to make us work, and part of me does as well. I don't want to hurt my kids, and I don't want this to eat me up inside for the rest of my life. I don't know what I should do. Is she telling me the complete truth? Should I stay or get out? I want to believe the kids are mine because we had kids once we got married. But what if she was secretly seeing him behind my back? Damn. Later I found out that she told him to give her a few months to decide if she wanted to continue with me. Her reasoning was to get him off her back. I think that it was a backup plan. In the event that if we didn't work out, she would go back to him. She also confided and said that if I had not intercepted the call, she would probably have continued the emotional affair. But then she doubled back and said she was just too afraid of getting caught by me. I don't know what's real or not. I really don't know what to believe from her at this point. Part of me thinks she continued seeing him. She said that he continued to call her at work and leave messages. She said that she never returned the calls until one day when he showed up at her work. They talked and she gave him a ride back to his house, where she swears nothing happened. She had decided to end it in the last time that she went to his house, but ended up sleeping with him, and that was the 3rd time. It all sounds shady to me. Honestly, I'm going to take some time to myself and rent an apartment with a short-term lease so I can sort out my feelings and intentions. The thing is, when I'm away and I'm alone with my thoughts, I replay everything that she did in my head. My mind just highlights the acts of what she did. I feel like I got scammed and married under false pretenses. Had I known about the cheating, I wouldn't have married her for sure. I think the marriage itself is authentic right now, but I'm so confused. We loved and cared for each other, at least from my perspective. She's been a great mother and a very supporting wife. I'd like to believe what she's told me, that it was completely out of her character and that she was just immature and didn't understand how much she really loved me. But is that really the truth? Especially since I was quote unquote a backup plan. What do you guys think?